Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be working on a little 50cc scooter. Here I have a Sento 50 I got from a friend of mine who hadn't run it in a long time. It's been sitting. The odometer says, what is that, 11,061. I'm not sure which one that is. Kilometers, miles per hour. Yeah. Anyway, not a lot of hours on it, but it's been sitting. Hi. And it doesn't want to run right. It'll try to start, but it won't stay running. So turn the key on, hold the brake down, and you press the start button here. Okay, it's gonna stay running now. Oh yeah, but as soon as you give it any throttle, it just quits. Nothing. So we're gonna dig into this and see if we can't get this thing running properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. So first things first, we're gonna open the lid here. The engine is underneath the seat here, and to do that, you take the key and you push it in and you turn it, and that pops the trunk. However you want to lift that seat up. Lift the seat up.
This one?
Yep. Good job. There we go. Now I've already kind of gone ahead and pulled the bolts out of the seat here, so this will come up, look straight up like that. And there's a wire. That's the trunk release right there. So we're gonna disconnect that wire. There you go. Take it. Set it down over there. Perfect. And then this gives us access to the engine. And there is our work for the day. This is your little carburetor. And my assumption is since it's been sitting for a long time, maybe the accelerator pump's not working, or it's just something's gummed up in it or whatever. So we're gonna pull this carburetor out, get it over to the workbench, clean it up, put it back on, and see how she runs after that.
You see, Dad is fixing it. Dad, the camera's off.
No, it's on. Sorry.
You know you can sit down here. Dad. I'm gonna do this over here. And then I'll hold it.
Okay, relatively simple process to get that out of there. It's really just the intake into the engine and then the intake into the carburetor. 2 Phillips screws. You unplug the fuel lines, the drain line and the supply line. You remove the throttle cable from the carburetor. I'm going to start by pulling off the bottom half. This bottom half is going to be the bowl where the float is, I believe. Anyway, I've taken enough carburetors apart to kind of get the gist of it. I've never taken one of these carburetors apart, and from my research I found that these actually aren't very expensive, so if I really wanted to, I could just buy a new one.
Bye. Dad, why is it red?
It's recording. just like I expected. You got your float assembly here and a bunch of fuel. That's okay. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull this float out of here.
What's that water?
It's fuel, honey.
What's fuel?
Just gasoline is what you put in there to make it run. And you pull it out just like that, and the needle comes right out, and we're gonna leave it attached and set it right over here.
What's that smell?
It smells like fuel. And at this point, we just take our compressed air and we're gonna blow out all the little orifices in here. Watch your eyes.
Are we done?
And that's it. Now we're just gonna reassemble it. Not much to them. Stick the needle back in the hole there. Set the float down very gently. And once that's back in place,
Oh, hello. Do you want to see our motorcycle? Sure, young lady. Here's our motorcycle.
alright, set this thing back down in here. The first thing I want to do is connect the main fuel supply line. And then connect the fuel drain line. Now you can tell the difference between these two lines because the fuel supply is bigger diameter than the fuel drain, and the fuel drain goes on the bottom of the bowl and the fuel supply goes above it. And once you've done that, set this thing back down in place and just basically reverse order of how you took it out. And once you get those set in place, then you can tighten it down. You want to make sure these are tight so you don't have any vacuum leaks, especially on this side of the carburetor. This side's not as important. I mean, it is important because you want the air to be filtered, but you still just tighten them down real good. The end of this cable goes into a notch here. You set that in, and then you swing the cable around the groove, and then you slide it into there, like that. It's in place. You may have to go back through and make some adjustments after the fact once you get it running to see, you know, how much slop and play you have. Get it about middle. It's probably going to be just fine. And then tighten it down. All back together. Got the plug plugged in. So let's see if it'll fire up and actually run this time.
Today wasn't. I'm dancing in the spotlight.
Something's still wrong. All right, guys, I got the scooter running like a top. What did it was a new carburetor. So this is about a week later. I'm shooting this part of the video. Ordered a new carburetor. The pilot for the idle jet was completely clogged. That was causing all my issues for not idling. So I went ahead and ordered a new carburetor and everything. This one's their, you know, high performance, and really the difference is the ports on the intake are bigger, wider diameter, which helps for airflow. So that's the performance. The other difference is with this carburetor compared to the old one is the old one had these two vacuum ports, one here and one here. And this one here is for my fuel pump. That's up there. And the other one is for this hose here that goes down to another air pump down there, which I believe is for like an EGR emissions or something like that. So, you know, not important. Which is good because the new one didn't come with that port. Now, I probably could tee this in or plumb it in somewhere, but honestly, I really don't care. It's running and it's performing really well right now, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But there was one issue. When I did get this in, it idled everything great, but as soon as I full throttled it, it fell on its face. And so that told me that I wasn't getting enough fuel at wide open throttle. So what I did was I pulled my main jet out and I drilled it one size up. Oh, I dropped it. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. A friend of mine has these drill bits. They're really teeny tiny. So this first drill bit here was the one I used. It's a 0.040, and I had to use, ooh, I dropped them all. And I had to use this Dremel. That's the only thing that can bite on it. And then I put it in a vise and drilled the hole out just that big. Threw it in there, and the thing worked great. I may go a size bigger to see what happens because I've got a couple extra of these. And if I go too big, I can always go back to one of these and drill out to where I know it works. But that was my main issue, was my pilot jet on the new carburetor just wasn't big enough, and it wasn't allowing enough fuel for the airflow I was getting. So that problem was solved. Idle jet obviously was clogged up, so you got your idle jet and your main jet. The idle jet was the original problem. I wanted more performance, so I went with a bigger carburetor and drilled out my main jet, and that solved everything. The thing runs like a top. I'm kind of reluctant to do anything else with it, but I have had the extra jet, so I may. So anyway, the thing runs fantastic. So if you guys got one of these 50cc scooters and you want to tinker around with it, this carburetor here with the bigger diameter intake was like 30 or 40 bucks on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. That way you guys can see it if you guys want to do that. Really easy installation. It's been running fantastic, so I highly recommend doing that. But yeah, all in all, the thing runs great. I threw some new oil in it, and I plan on running it all summer long. So anyway, if you guys like what I do on this channel, please consider subscribing and hit that like button for me, and we will see you guys in the next one.